All right, we are live. We are live. My brother. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Back on Track. I'm your host, Brother Ghazi, and we have in the studio a very special guest, man, my little big brother. I tell you, I don't know what to say about this brother here. Let me see. Let's start like this: entrepreneur, trainer, coach, mentor, man, hell, the list goes on and on. A great helper to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. This brother just an extraordinary human being, a phenomenal brother, and I'm grateful to have this opportunity to interview him and share a little bit about his story. You know, who is the great brother Ben X? How you doing, brother Ben?
Man, I'm doing blacktastic, man. Honored to be on the platform today.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you, man. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna start by saying, so I used to watch your videos years ago. You know, you put a lot of videos up on the minister, but what really put your mind, your presence on my radar was I was doing I was going to a school here in Phoenix. The Black Student Organization had invited me to the school. These were high school students, and when I got to the school, the brother who was the head of the Black Student Program in the high school, he said, "Man, you in the nation?" I say, "Oh, yes, sir, brother." And he say, "Man, I always want to join the nation because I be listening to Ben X." I say, "Ben X." I like who is? I'm thinking like Minister Benjamin. I'm trying to think of who he talking about. And then he showed it to me. I said, "I see that brother videos all the time." And man, the whole student body here in Phoenix. Now they never met you. I don't know if they interact with you online, but the whole student body was inspired to join the nation from Brother Ben X, and I was just blown away with that. So that's how I was really introduced to you. Somebody really put you on my radar, though I seen all your videos everywhere and things like that. But
Hey,
man, let's get into it, man. Let's talk a little bit about who is Brother Ben X, man. Come on, let's get into it, big brother.
well, man, like you said, man, I'm all those things. I'm a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I'm just a little brother, man, who's striving to make a change in the world. So as I try and strive to piece myself together, I'm striving to help piece other people together as well with the same teachings that I'm using, which is the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, I grew up as a basketball player. I was an All-American basketball player in college. I actually thought I was going to be playing basketball for all my life until I got introduced to the teachings. And after I started listening to the minister, watching Muhammad Ali interviews, the nation just started to be something that fulfilled my soul when I started sharing the teachings and I started getting feedback how it was impacting their life and changing their life and stopping them from committing suicide and reaching their children and things of that nature. And I never really had that type of feeling before. And it used to feel good to drop 40 and 10 or 30 and 15, something like that. But um nothing felt better than being able to share a word and help people and know that by me just being myself on camera and just sharing something that's helping me is impacting thousands, now millions of people all over the world. So I'm just somebody who's striving to be a good student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and striving to self-improve myself every day that I can.
Man, that's beautiful, man. So I want to delve a little bit into your history, brother, because I was in Atlanta with you a couple of months ago, and you all was doing a training, you and Brother Jake, and I was sitting there in the audience, and you said something that like blew my damn mind. You said I was born in prison or jail. I said, what the hell? And of course, Tupac came to mind. The whole Afeni Shakur thing, right? And but man, let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about that situation. You was actually, so you was born. Your mother was pregnant. Was it prison or like a county jail or something? Like what was
Yeah,
that? What was that?
it was prison. From what I'm told, shoot, I ain't went back to the womb yet, but I was told, that I was born in prison, and my mom was on drugs at the time, and I was given away to my biological mother's cousin, who is my mother now. About 6 days later, and shoot, that was it. From there, I was, that's just, that's what it is. I was born in prison.
Man, and did you ever? So you was born in prison. Your mother was on drugs. Did you ever reconnect with your biological mother?
I can recall, not vividly, but going over there maybe one time, maybe around the age of 5. I heard that she said, I cried a lot. So I didn't go over there really after that from my memory. Just that one time, going over there that one time around the age of 5, and with my biological father, I never seen him at all while he was alive.
Wow. And did that like what effects do you think that had, if any, on your thinking? Because most children, like how we talk in the nation, that next to God and His messenger, who did you honor most? Your mother, right?
Mm.
And then they ask them again, it's your mother, it's your mother, then your father. So being that your mother really wasn't interactive in your life, did it have some kind of effect on you coming up that like, this my mother was her cousin, which is your mother, but did you know that she wasn't your real mother and things like that coming up?
Yeah, I knew that. I'm still learning. Uh, I'm still learning about the effects through just speaking to certain people who's helping me see things, because honestly, I be so busy, which may be uh which may be a defense mechanism. I be so busy, man, that I don't even be thinking about it. And I just got numb after a certain time. So for me, one of the things that I used to do when I was younger is just sit around and think about why they never called and asked about me, or why they never came and just showed themselves, a couple times or something like that. Although I didn't grow up in bad at all, which I guess made it a lot easier. I didn't really need or want for anything, but I used to always think, uh did they not want me? Or why didn't they come and ask about me? Why didn't they inquire? I used to always think about my biological father. I always wonder, what did he look like? I used to try to Google his name to find pictures, if I could find any pictures or something like that. I used to try to read articles to see what he did for a living. This is when I was real young. And what I recently found, even in the past relationship that I had in high school, how things affected me, and maybe why I feel like that one affected me so much, is because uh it reminded me of feeling abandoned, feeling the abandonment of the parents. That's the feeling that I had. And so for me, I think I just always just put it to the back of my head and just worked and worked and worked. So I don't know all of the effects that it has had on me, but shoot, I'm pretty sure it has had many effects, but I'm pretty sure there may be some positive effects as well that we talked about even the other day, when we talked about, Allah shaping us in the womb. And I'm pretty sure that, Brother Troy, he said when brother Larry first told him that story, which I used to didn't tell this story, he said, maybe Allah shaped you in the womb that way, so that because you was born in prison, so that you can free your people from the prison that they've been in mentally and spiritually. And I said, man, I like that response. And I started to tell my story a lot more after that. But with the teachings, I do realize and know now that the thoughts and the feelings and the chemicals that the mother has is going into that child. So I'm pretty sure somebody being in prison, anybody in prison, has the mindset of, I want to be free, has the mindset of, I don't want to be, in captivity. So maybe that is why naturally, I've always, even before I joined the nation, asked questions about Black history and things of that nature, and asking people in my classmates, what they think about Black current events that's going on. I didn't realize that until I got into the nation and looked at my old videos, that I was even asking those questions. I wasn't even conscious about that until I looked back before my YouTube videos got taken away. So I'm pretty sure that there has been many effects, but I'm not aware of them all.
Yeah, man, that's powerful. And I know, I'm gonna tell you. So, I grew up knowing my mother, but we had my mother was something else. But I didn't know my father until I was 14 years old. And I had actually met the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in person before I met my biological father, before I had ever seen how he looked in real life. I had never seen the picture of him. And I didn't know that the effect on me, the effects of it, when I was younger, I used to just subconsciously say to myself, when I start having children, I'm not going to be nothing like my damn daddy, right? I'm going to be that for mine, right? And, you know, I started having babies, and you know, I was there, single dad at one time, and you know, for 6 years raising my 3 sons and my daughter. And you know, people ask me where that drive come from to really be there, and it was because of the negative experiences that I had with my father. Now, my father and I, we jam to this day, but I didn't know it had an effect on me where I didn't want to be like that. It kind of fueled me, and I remember telling my father one day, I say, man, if you was in my life half-heartedly, like some of these other fathers, you just came around every now and then, and bought me a lollipop and took me to the store and bought me a hamburger, something like that, I would have had the example that that's what a father is. But since you weren't that period for me, my desire was intense to be the opposite of that. I don't want to be nothing like that, because I know I wanted my father to be there to show me how to play ball and maybe how to mac on the little girls and how to throw them things or something like that. I wish my daddy would did it, but I had some uncles, and you know, some of the FOI. My uncle was the captain of the FOI, you know, and they kind of stepped in, but it ain't nothing like their father being there. So, man, that's a powerful story. And so, at what age? I know you was All American at one time, and I remember we talking the other day, and I didn't really know what you know what All American meant. I know it got something to do with sports, but so you was in high school, you raised by your mother's cousins and the family. Was it that welcoming atmosphere, or did you ever feel alienated, like, you know, you ain't really our son, you ain't really my brother? Did you have siblings coming up, or was it a wholesome environment for you?
It was, for the most part, very welcoming. Anytime, like I say, anything I needed or wanted, I got. There was a few instances where, you know, things happened where, you know, things were said out of spite. But for the most part, it was very welcoming. I felt like, you know, at home. Now, the crazy thing is I have 21 biological brothers and sisters, but
Wow.
I didn't grow up with any of them. Um, 4 of them stayed together in East Texas, and I would go travel with them every, you know, every other year or something like that. I would go travel and stay with them just so that we can have time together. Then I had a little sister that stayed near me, but we didn't really see each other much. And so I knew I had 21 biological brothers and sisters, and you know, but I was the only child in that particular household. So I wanted uh somebody that I could play with. I wanted somebody that was around my age that I could, you know, just be around, instead of just, you know, being in a house with, you know, 2 adults, right? So I actually always would have my cousin come over. He was like a brother to me growing up. But for me, that helped me develop being able to do things alone, edit videos alone, create alone. That's actually where my creative juices came from, because I didn't really have anybody to talk to. So I talk through the camera. So that's why I usually come alive on camera. I'm naturally an introvert. When somebody meets me in person, I'm the quiet person. I don't have much to say. I'm somewhere in the corner minding my business, just being very observant. But you know, on camera, that's just my way of expressing myself. So I started to create skits, pretending as if that was my brother. You recently just told, you know, asked me about that picture with my, you know, so-called grandfather. I never met my biological grandfather or grandmother. I honestly don't even know a lot of my family name. I mean, I've been to family reunions and things of that nature, but it's just not, I don't know everybody names like that. I'm just not that type of, I don't know. I don't know if that's another defensive mechanism that came about, but it just is what it is. But I created characters, and these characters is like me talking to myself. So I would have conversations with myself in the room. Hey, and I would answer myself too. So what people see on camera sometimes is the conversations that I've had, or conversations that I imagine, or if somebody's saying something, I want to express it. You know, I may be like, hey, this person right here that I'm personifying on this video, and I'm speaking back to them, you know, one-on-one. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, adversity is the mother of creativity. And that particular situation that I was in, knowing that I got so many siblings, but I don't know really any of them. Well, I knew 4 of them, and then 6 of them after my biological father's funeral, because I met them at the actual funeral, well, right before the funeral, after he had died. But it produced in me to just learn how to do things alone. And that right there kind of for all these years, I have been doing everything alone, editing the videos, uploading the videos, getting creative, being self-taught. And now that I have a team, it's kind of, you know, a process for me to start to delegate and not do everything on my own. But it's becoming a lot easier. So to answer your question, I got 21 biological brothers and sisters, but I did grow up in a household alone. So basically the only child in that particular household.
Man, that's very powerful, brother. And two things come to my mind. As a person who I'm a storyteller, a storypreneur, and two things come to my mind to see how it has affected you. One, being around older people as a child. You know how the Bible say it like this: old man for counsel, young man for war, right? And I used to think that was old chronologically, somebody who's old in age, right? Who's mature in age. But now, literally, when I met you, and we really got with the ABS tribe and Jake and a lot of these other youngsters who I got children older than y'all, right? But when I met you, I started thinking that maybe I ain't talking about old people in chronological age, but people who have mature ideas, who have ripe ideas. You go to them kind of people for counsel. And the young people who got them old young but wild ideas, put them on the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? But some people, even though they're young, they have ripe and mature ideas. So that's kind of how I look at you. And being around the older people, it's easy to kind of grow up before your time, so to speak, because you ain't around a bunch of children when you can do a lot of other stuff. You forced to do other things. You know what I'm saying? And then also, it's amazing. So you have a biological big family that you was never acquainted with. And look how the God bless you to have a family. So you got way more 21 brothers and sisters now. Damn, it's like 21,000 of us now, right? You got a whole lot of brothers and sisters that love you, and like, that's my brother, that's my little brother, my big brother, my little big brother. It's like a whole lot of us now that identify with you as straight up family and stuff,
Yeah, that's amazing. That's actually my book that's coming out. That's called Being It Is. That's one of the parts of it. There's 15 of them I've never met before. And in my book, when it comes out, it'll tell, my story up until now as much as I can. But I'm going to feature 15 brothers and sisters on a wristband that has interviews. And it's my way of saying that I have now been blessed to pick my own brothers and sisters, and they are going to be a part of my story of helping the people who read my book.
Wow, man, that's amazing, brother. Okay, so you raised in your family. And so what was high school like for you? I seen some of your pictures, you out there balling and things like that. Was basketball like an out for you? Is that something you just picked up on? Like, how'd you learn that you went around a bunch of family members? So where'd you get that from? Just in the streets and school?
Yeah, I used to, be in the hood playing basketball and, things of that nature on the goal outside and just practice. I've been playing since I was about 2, just, playing around, dribbling. And I've been in AAU. I've been blessed to be in AAU. That was some of the most fun times of my life with that AAU circuit, man. Playing 6 and under, 10 and under, 12 and under, just being on the road, traveling, playing basketball, and I just fell in love with the game. And it was my way of, I used to call it my way of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say healing, but it was my way of, it was my release. That's what it is. It was my release whenever I'm, going through something, or whenever I'm just feeling stressed or something like that. Basketball was my way out. And so I would just go to the gym, and I was known in high school as the sniper because I could shoot from far away, even when I was small. I'm 6 years old shooting threes, things of that nature. So I've always been a person that just put a lot of time into basketball. So when people said ball is life, like, that was really me. Every single day of my life, I'm going to the open gyms, I'm going to the rec centers, things of that nature. And at school, I was known for that guy who may skip lunch to go shoot basketball. 2 hours before the game, he's in there playing basketball. He's got the camera in the corner because I was still editing videos in high school. He got the camera in the corner, and he's out there and he's shooting basketball right before the game start. And all of the hood dudes and things of that nature, they love me as well because I was cold, so everybody wanted to protect me and things of that nature. So it was cool, man. I loved basketball, and that was definitely my release. And then entrepreneurship, I went to South Oak Cliff High School. That's in the hood. So I got smart, well, my mom, she got me these big things of honey buns, Snickers, Starburst, Skittles from Sam's Club. So she got it in bulk. I would take the money, and I would take the candy, put it in my backpack, and I'll be flipping it at school. So we can go get it for like $28, but I'm selling everybody $1 for the Skittles, $1 for the Snicker, $1 for the Gatorade, $2 for the Gatorade. And I done became the candy man. And because I was going to the school like that, you know, the sisters at that time, probably still now, they got the big eyelashes on. You know, they got the big eyelashes, they got all that. So I collaborated with a brother who had an auntie who, you know, owned a beauty supply store. So now I'm at school dealing and selling eyelashes. So I ain't never sold no weed, I ain't never sold no drug, but I done sold some hot Cheetos, some potato chips and some Gatorades.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I was doing that at school, man. So that's how I got my entrepreneur self going. Then at that time, I was showing, you know, people that I can make videos. So I'm editing highlights for people in school. I'm doing little music videos for people at school. I'm doing skits and things of that nature. So I was always known as the guy who played basketball, but I always had a YouTube channel that was funny. He was doing interviews and skits and things of that nature. So high school was pretty cool, man. It was well. I went to SOC for 2 years. Then I transferred to DeSoto to finish up my basketball career over there. And man, everything went well.
And what city is this? Is this in Texas, you say? Is this for you?
This is Dallas.
Oh, in Dallas, Texas. Okay. Yes, sir. Man, that's amazing. And so then after high school, you went on to college. And you did you ever play overseas? When you say all American, is that did you travel like to other countries or they're just national?
All American just simply mean I was highly ranked in the country. So I was top 15 in the nation as a player. Shoot, as far as assists, I was top 5, number 1 year in assists. About top, I want to say top 30 in scoring. So a lot of people know, you know, when I post my highlights, there's a lot of scoring. And they feel like I'm a point guard who probably ball hog. But then when I tell them I was number 1 in top 4 in assists, you know, they ain't got nothing to say. So all America just simply mean that you highly ranked, top ranked in the nation as a player. And actually, as I look back on that, my way of playing basketball as a PG is actually how I am in life. Like Jake, he was a point guard as well, but he's more vocal. You know, he's more so, you know what I mean, the team player. He's doing all this. I was a quiet player. So I had a coach. Unless I got mad, they started talking noise, and I started talking noise back. But I had a brother who started to train me. He wanted me to be vocal, but it just wasn't my game. I was the playmaker. I'm gonna score. Just like in business, I'm gonna score them. I'm gonna get their marketing going. I'm gonna bring them sales in. I ain't gonna do too much talking unless I got to, and I'm gonna make plays for others. So that was my, my whole basketball career. So when I went to college, my first year I was all conference. Then the second year, the first year, my coach had said something towards the end of the year, like I ain't gonna never make it to the NBA. I started crying and stuff like that. It kind of made me sad. And then I said, well, this next year I'm about to show you. So man, I just went off, man. I'm scoring double doubles. I'm hitting 27. I'm averaging 27. I'm averaging over 10 assists. In conference, I started scoring 40 points, 41, 42, 39. I just started going off, and I became an All-American. Then this is when I started to come into the teaching. I was introduced into the teachings from a brother named Brother Malik Muhammad, who came and spoke at my school about the role of the male and the female. And he was also into business as well. So he had his own school. All of his children was homeschooled. They don't even know nothing about grades like that, things of that nature, as far as, like levels, kindergarten, because, if you smart, you just go past, you just keep going. Ain't no such thing as you got first grade math, you got second grade math. If you master this, then you go to the next level. So they had children who was graduating at the age of 16, 15. I'm like, wow. So he became my mentor. He started to coach me on business a little bit, give me a little game, give me some life game and things of that nature. Then he invited me to the study group. And that's just when I started coming into the teachings, listening to the minister. And when I'm going into my junior year, I hear the minister talking about debt is slavery. Now, I was supposed to be on scholarship at this new school that I'm going to, but they had too many people on the team. They was expecting some people to leave from the previous year that didn't leave this year. And so they said, man, everybody got to cut their dreads. And then this one guy didn't want to. And, he didn't cut his dreads, but he was still on scholarship. And I'm just got the minister in the back of my mind saying debt is slavery. So I dropped out of college. I said, man, I'm not finna do this. I felt like I had already accomplished something because people felt like I couldn't go D1. So once I went D1, I was actually creating a documentary the whole time called beyond every no, meaning beyond every no that I received from a college, I'm gonna make it. So once I made it, it was like, all right, I made it. You know what I mean? I got to record. I done documented it. And then once I started hearing the teachers, man, I started to gravitate more so to the teachings. I wanted to create videos. I wanted to put videos out and things of that nature. But, you know, I had to go to practice. So practice started to feel like a job to me. And then eventually, you know, I quit and been on this journey ever since.
Man, that's amazing. And you know, I'm gonna tell you, the more I listen to you, the more I, you know, just understand the value of our own stories and personal experiences. I'm a person who believe as a storypreneur, I adamantly believe that if you're looking for your purpose and you're looking outside of yourself, you're looking in the wrong direction. Because whatever you was born to do, whatever your purpose is, you already prepared to do that. And that preparation has already taken place in your own story, in your own personal life experiences. So for those who listen to this, and when you want to find purpose, go back into your story, go back into your experiences. It's something already, preparation has already taken place. You just got to know how to go into your story, man it out, and look at it, connect them dots. And what you was born to do, it's already there. You want to understand the fruit of a tree, study the root of the tree. You know, if you want to understand the end product, look at the origin, look at the development, look at all that. So the more I hear your story, it just makes sense that you the kind of brother that you are that's impacting so many people, you know. And so let's talk about the nation. You know, I came into the nation at a very young age, but I was buck wild. So I came to the nation differently. My introduction was punitive. So I was crazy as hell. My mother couldn't do nothing with me. I was in and out of juvenile, kicked out of schools, and stayed in a lot of trouble. But my uncle was the captain of the FOI in Mars 28 in St. Louis. So she would call her big brother, and she would say, "You better come get this boy, because I'm gonna kill his ass." That's what she would say to him, you know. So he would come get me and take me to the mosque, and the FOI didn't play. They was very disciplined type brothers, and you know, you ain't play with them, you know, when I was coming up, right? So I would go and listen, and I would always love to hear what they were saying, but I still was buck wild. The streets had a pull on me, and you know, I wound up getting registered at 16, but in 88, but going to prison a few months later as an FOI, you know, already registered. And but the love of the minister was always deep in my heart and my mind, and I just had a lot of respect and admiration for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But those early years in your life in the nation, like what was that transition like? Did you have opposition from your family? Because I remember, I'll never forget when I first went to the mosque and I came home. The first meeting I went to the mosque, they were talking about pork, the cat, the rat, and the dog, right? So I came home and my mama was making, she had pork chops, macaroni and cheese on a Sunday. And I come home, I say, "Oh, I ain't eating that stuff. They got the cat, the rat, and the dog in it." My mama say, "What?" And you know, she like, "Well, you gonna starve then." And I remember one of my sisters say, "He ain't got to eat it. Give me his pork chop," you know. And I haven't eaten pork since that time. Since I first heard about it, I stopped eating pork. But I did have a little backlash from my families, even though they wanted me around my uncle. Muslims was like strange to them still, you know, like, "Oh, here you go with that stuff." You know, did you ever have a backlash from your family, or were they supportive of your move in the nation? Was they Christians? What was that like?
Yeah, you know, the family was Christian, of course, and Baptist. And when I first started listening to the minister, I used to just listen to it at home. You know, I was staying with my parents, and at one point, I heard things like the Muslims gonna get you killed, and they gonna you don't let them ruin your life, and you know what I mean, you don't know what you're doing, and you know Farrakhan did this and Farrakhan did that, to the point where I was told even one time that you know, we're gonna listen to Farrakhan in his house. So I'm just listening to it on my headphones. So there was a lot of backlash that I received. I've heard things like, "Well, you better well, have the nation do it, you know, we'll tell the nation to do it for you then." So I got a lot of that. And but the beautiful thing about it is I just kept pushing. I heard the minister say one time that Allah doesn't always pluck the whole family. He plucks one out of the whole family. And that one who is plucked found what he's been looking for. And he may be told, "Well, you got to get out of my house." When then he says, "Well, I'm gonna just have to get out the house then," because he feels like he has found something that is truly his purpose. He has found something that truly fulfills him finally. And even if he has backlash against his own family, against his own mother, against his own cousin, auntie, whatever, it is something that he doesn't care about. So I started receiving, you know, inboxes from family who ain't never hit me up, trying to tell me the difference between Christianity and Islam. Of course, the article is framed in a way to go against Islam, but these same people never said anything to me about religion my whole life. These people have never said anything to me about Christianity my whole life. But now that I'm joining the nation, I'm getting little texts and I'm getting little inboxes and things of that nature trying to sway me away. But I just kept going, and as they saw the growth in myself and the growth in others, you know, some of their family, some of their classmates, some of their classmates who they went to school with start seeing my videos. They're like, man, y'all know this brother Ben? And they have to bear witness and say, yeah, that's this. You know what I mean? That's my son, or that's my cousin, or that's this and that's that. And as they seen the growth, man, and more people started to talk about it, you know, I got the family to start, you know, watching Savior's Day. I got the family to start, you know, getting the final call. My cousin right now, my favorite cousin, my big cousin now. One point when I started to join, he kind of was coming at me about why I'm posting about Farrakhan so much. So I responded with, shoot, you wasn't saying that when I was posting Allen Iverson every day. So it was a transition that, you know, the family and just people around me had to get used to. But that same cousin done read Message of the Black Man, got Fall of America now. Shoes. I don't know if he got Our Savior Has a Right. I think right now he may have How to Eat to Live. He's praying now, doing his prayers. So it's just like it's amazing to see. And I heard the minister answer it like that before. He was asked about, what do I do when my family don't want me to join? He says, never argue with them. They just don't want to lose you, right? So he's saying, don't argue with them. You just continue to be a good person. You continue to say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, when you never did that before. Clean your room and stuff like that when you never did that before. And he said, one day you go home and you leave a final call on your bed. He said, they're going to pick up that final call and read it and say, boy, I've been trying to tell that brother that stuff, boy. And so he was saying, basically, just be an example. And when you be an example, they'll eventually come around. And that is really the experience that I've had. The July 4th speech, you know, they hit me up saying, man, I watched the whole speech. And then my cousin, when he read Message of the Black Man, he's hitting me up saying, man, this is crazy, because what I'm reading in Message of the Black Man, I'm now looking at America right now, and I'm seeing exactly what this man is talking about. This is wild. This is crazy. And then he came and said, you always knew it was the truth on you. You always knew, because I was the only one in the family that was on that. I had family members that done cussed me out on Facebook, you know, trying to come at me about the Quran. This same cousin came to a study group one time, got on Facebook talking crazy, then had to call me and say, hey man, hey man, I apologize, you know, man, because he said, I went through the Quran trying to prove you wrong. And he said, man, all I found was peace. I said, man, all to do to Allah. I got an uncle right now that still be trying to debate online, say stuff about the minister, say we ain't doing nothing and things of that nature. But that's just the backlash that I got. But I also know that comes with the territory. And one of the scriptures really that kept me going is a scripture that talks about when Jesus come, he came to divide. He said he would turn the father against the son, the mother against the daughter, the father-in-law against the son-in-law. And I thought on that. I said, man, something about this. And what I found was, it wasn't that Jesus was intentionally wanting to break up the family. He was coming with a truth. And when he came with that truth, one family member would take it and the other one would deny it, and that would cause them to separate and divide based on the truth that he was bringing. Then I read where it says, when you pick up your cross and you follow Jesus, you will be lied on, you will be persecuted. And he said, they'll even hate you for my name's sake. So I started to go back and study myself. I said, well, everybody loved me before I found the nation. Nobody persecuted me before I found the nation. Nobody hated me for Jesus' name's sake before I joined the nation. But once I followed this man Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the persecution came. The lies came. The hating me just for his name's sake came. So that gave me confidence. Said, although they hate me, it said those who withstand will really be blessed. And we see today that Allah is blessing and will continue to bless as long as we stay obedient and submit our will to do his will. So I saw that scripture in my life when they became when they started to come. So I said, if I'm following a Jesus or a Christ and he's hated by this world and he is hated by other people, am I truly following him if I'm not hated? Am I truly following him if I don't suffer a little persecution? Of course, it won't be on that level, but I know I'm following that right one when I am being persecuted and lied on, and they turn them they nose up at me. I say, oh, I must be following the right one.
Yeah, man. Thank you for saying that. And you know, I'm gonna tell you, you know, I told you earlier that I had met the minister before I met my biological father. And then one day, you know, I share with you the circumstances under which I met the minister, because I hitchhiked from St. Louis to Chicago and I ran away from home to actually see the minister when I was 14. But when I did meet my father, you know, I started living with him because you know my mother was about to put me out, but something similar took place with my father and I. Because when I met my father, he lived right down the street from the mosque in East St. Louis, Mosque 28 on State Street. So I would walk down from my father's house to the mosque, and really I want to start trying to get myself together, right? And one day my father he woke me up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and he wanted me to watch. You remember the movie Shaft? You know, the old like gangster movie, like them blaxploitation movie. It was called Shaft.
Is that with Samuel Jackson?
Well, that's the newer one, but it was an older one, like a show that came out before the one with Samuel Jackson. But it was based on that. Brother wear a long trench coat and he was in the hood and stuff like that. Well, my daddy wanted me to get up and watch Shaft with him. I gotta go to school with him. I'm 14. I'm like, man, I'm tired. I go to school. And so you know, he said something to me that at that time. He said this. He said, and I've never shared this publicly. He said, if I was one of them old bald head ass Muslims, you would get your ass up and watch this TV with me. Because I was always trying to go to the mosque because I had just got it. I was staying in so much trouble with my mom. I'm like, I want to change my life around. And he said that to me, and I looked at him, and I never forget looking at him in his face. And I got up and watched the movie with him till like 5 o'clock in the morning, try to lay down for an hour and get up and go to school. But the next day, when I came home from school, he had took my Quran, he took all my cassette tapes of the minister, and I had an I Savior Has a Ride book, and he threw it in the middle of the street in East St. Louis, and it cars riding over it. And man, I was so heated. I called my partner back in St. Louis. I mean, it was only by the grace of Allah. I called my partner to go get a pistol. I was finna kill my daddy. I'm like, man, I said, man, I'm finna get this dude. But I couldn't get in touch with my partner, boy. When I went back to St. Louis, I couldn't find him. But I went to get my thing. I was gonna get my daddy. But then I wound up calling my uncle, Gregory, and he came and took us out to the dinner, and he told him, he said, man, look, he said, man, when he was over here with his mom, he was in out of juvenile, kicked out of schools and everything. Now he over here, he's trying to get his life together. I'm going to the mosque. I had started working. My first job in life was Blue Seas Restaurant in East St. Louis. I started wiping the tables off and all that. The first time I ever had a job in life was at Blue Seas in East St. Louis. And he said, trying to get his life together, but you know, you should honor that, because my father was in the church. Now he a lot better now, and it's something, because right now, as much as my father like that back then, he called me recently. He see the brother out with the final call prior to COVID, and he would say, he'd call me and say, Red, I see some of the brothers out here. I bought one of them newspapers from him. You know, he was so excited to say, you know, my son in the nation, his name Ghazi Muhammad. You know, he very proud now, but back then it was a lot of persecution, and you know, I withstood that, but now it's like so much love and respect. He got a lot of love and respect for me. And, you know, my mother, before she transitioned, you know, she had mad love for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So for those who go through that, you know, you young people who may see this, when you go through that, just endure it and respect and honor. At some point, you know, God willingly, you know, they'll come around. So, man, let's talk about, so now you like a entrepreneur extraordinaire. I mean, everybody know Brother Ben X, man, you doing videos, you all over the place. How did you start doing all these videos, man? You got like 10 zillion videos, man, that's out there with at Ben X on it, man. How did you start like doing with the video with the minister, and like where did that idea come from? And did you have a business goal in mind when you was doing that, or was it just something you was passionate about doing?
Yeah, I was just inspired to do it. I know, I know that my way of studying is actually video. I'm not a big reader. Maybe because I don't get a lot of rest, because when I start to read, or if I'm not doing anything actively, I'll fall asleep. Like I crash to sleep. It's probably not good for my health, but that's what I do. I crash to sleep just studying, trying to do something. And whenever I like try to sit down and watch a movie, because my brain is not actively trying to solve something or do something, I just fall asleep, maybe because I be so tired. But my way of studying the teachings was listening to lectures of the minister. I only read when I'm looking for something specific. I don't like go from cover to cover. I'm more, I'm gonna go read this chapter because I need to get that. So for me, when I came into the teachings, it was the videos that inspired me, and I was an editor. So it only made sense for me to edit what I'm learning, and I just want to put this out. So that's really how I started doing that. I mean, and I would do that all day and night. Like if people only understood, man. I mean, I guess they do because there's so many videos out there. They didn't edit themselves, but it was a lot of work that I put in, man. Staying up to 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, listening to the minister and breaking those videos down. That's how I can remember so much that the minister has said, because I got to listen to the video as I'm editing it. So it's going into my subconscious mind as I'm trying to edit the videos. And there's so many clips out there. Like you said, sometimes I forgot I done even edited them clips. Like, man, where that one come from? Man, that one cold right there, right? It was me who done did it. So,
Right.
and it just came from me being inspired by these teachings and wanted to share it. And I didn't see too many. And here's the thought that I had. I was doing for self or striving to do for self. Everybody's not going to take the leap that I took. But I know everybody not going to watch no 3-hour lecture of the minister. They ain't watching no 4-hour Saviors there of the minister. They don't have that time, even if they wanted to. So I said, I'll watch it because I got the time. And I'll break it down. Here you go, 3-minute clip. Here go a little 1-minute clip. Here go a little 30-second clip. So you can get the little gem without you having to watch the full video. I never really had business in mind. I just, hey, put it up on my YouTube, maybe monetize on my YouTube, put a whole bunch on my Instagram and Facebook. And before Facebook even started monetizing, I had hundreds and thousands of videos on there already. Just straight, minister video, my video when I'm doing current event, and then throwing his wisdom in there and Instagram. So it just really was inspired by wanting to share that word, which makes me remember when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was, chopping up words as we are taught, and the minister up there, he got his good English, and he looks up and says, don't listen to how I'm saying it. I want you to listen to what I'm saying, and you put it in your fine language. Mm-hmm. So I took that principle and used it with the minister. Now the minister has a very fine language already, but when I can take his words and put it in the fine language of a video, put it in a little clip where I, chop the pauses down, but I add a little trap beat on it to where the brothers could jam it, but the minister got that wisdom on there. That's my fine language. Mm-hmm. Taking the teachings of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and doing a skit about it, teaching the principle through the skit. That's my fine language. When I make songs about the teachings and I'm talking about this and I'm talking about doing for self and throwing, that's my fine language. When I do short films, that's my fine language. So for me, I was just using the skill that I was already blessed with, tailor that or couple that with the teachings, and man, that thing blew up in about 2 to 3 years. Man, it was all over the world.
Wow. And man, I'm telling you, man, we're on the same thought patterns. I literally have in my notes here that exact same thing you was talking, the exact quote that the minister had, because that's what come to my mind by putting it in that fine language that and I think that not only was that an instruction for the minister personally, but it was an instruction for those who will come and follow the minister. That mission was on us too. And many believers, like years ago, I used to say this with the believers, like that we should be in every field that affects human life. So we should go to NA and AA class. I would go to NA and AA classes sometime. I'm not a drug addict or alcoholic or nothing, right? But I would go to the classes and the people would say, can you be my sponsor? Can you be my sponsor? And I'm saying everywhere, if it's teen pregnancy, if it's drug addiction, whatever it is, it should be something where we can go into that area and affect that industry with the life-giving teachings in some kind of way, because everything we need is life-giving teachings all the way around the board. And I was reading a book, when you was talking, it reminded me of a book I read. It was called Rewired. And it was talking about how this younger generation mind is different, like with technology, that the actually brain circuits have been rewired. So it's past the days where when I was coming up, you can take a child and sit them in front of a teacher and they can just do some the lecture style teaching and on the blackboard. They say, no, this young generation here, their mind has been rewired. So it seems like they got ADHD and they hard-headed, but that old modality of teaching, you can't put that on this generation here. Your generation and below, you can't. They ain't trying to hear that because they don't learn like that no more. Y'all was breastfed on technology, like right. Y'all was nursed on technology, so y'all minds is quicker, more sharper. I look at my children and man, I'm talking about. I got a cell phone. My 10-year-old daughter be making whole damn movies with the phone. I'm like, how you do that? You know, and she 10 and she's like, Dad, it's easy. Just do this. They got to give me lessons, you know, but because they mind wired like that, where and so a lot of parents and teachers and educators, if they're not evolving the way they teach young people, they're going to think that these children are hard-headed, they're rebellious, they got ADHD, they're going to want to medicate them, but all the time, they've been rewired. And the ministers say that God himself have taken this generation away from that old way of thinking because they don't want the parents to pass down that madness and that nonsense on to the children. So, man, that's some phenomenal stuff. So, man, let's talk about like the ABS. You know, I'm a proud student, you know what I'm saying, of the ABS tribe. And, you know, digital real estate, it's a amazing damn program, man. Like it's some phenomenal stuff. The people that's in it, all the coaches, Jake and Sabrina and Sean and Jason. I mean, the whole crew, man, and Taylor, everybody, man, just some amazing people. How did that come about with the, I know you was doing what you was doing, and then the ABS tribe, Asset Before Splurging. How did you and Jake meet, and how did y'all form that? And Sabrina, I mean, y'all got together, and it was like, bam, like magic.
Yeah, I was just doing my thing, trying to, you know, help out people with entrepreneurship and just doing stuff online with marketing. And I actually had a company that partnered with Jake's company, and I was just getting like a little percentage of it with an affiliate link. But then me and brother Jake got real close because he began to show me about the insurance game and about how to have your own private bank and just showing me about finances and just teaching me step by step how to set up my family to make sure that the family is straight. And he would just call every day. I'm a person who's an introvert. So I'm like, this dude calling me too much. Like, I'd be like, when he called me, I'm like, dude, you could have texted me that. Like, I don't feel like talking too much.
Right.
So, but Jake, you know, Jake is Jake. He's friendly. He's, you know, he's like that, good brother. And he just would call me every day. And we just built that relationship. And it got to a point where when we had the affiliate link, I brought in so many people that he was like, I got to make you a part owner, because it was so many people saying, well, Ben brought me in. Well, dang, they didn't come in through the link. Well, they came in because of brother Ben. Well, they came in because of brother Ben. And they answering the phone and they saying, man, a lot of people saying, I don't even know what I'm getting, but I'm coming because brother Ben X done stamped it. Right. And so I had so many of that, old people too, old, young, just all ages. And so he was like, dang, okay, he's the real deal. And so we built that partnership. And we finally became, you know, partners under ABS. And then we first started something called the business school. We was going to teach every night, and we was expecting to get like 50 people, 100 people. That was our goal, right? 50, 100 people. We're going to teach them every night, teach them business Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's it. Man, we had one meeting where a sister named Sister Tia came in, and it was no longer the business school. She came and she was just very adamant, and she felt safe. She was in a safe environment. She started to expose some things that she went through, and she broke down crying and talk about how this was helping her. And then everybody else, I guess, got inspired to share their why as well. And they started crying, and then they started crying. Men started crying. Women started crying. And they put in a request and said, listen, we need to change this to the tribe. And so we changed it to ABS Tribe. And every Tuesdays and Thursday, me and Jake would just be on that bad boy. I used to have Jake on there ready to go home. He used to try to sneak out. I'm going until 11 o'clock at night, 12 midnight, just answering everybody questions. And then we started to develop coaches, you know, people who was inside of the class and on there every day, but then it was just helpful without even asking. But the Jason King was the first one. He's answering all kind of questions in the Facebook group. He boots on the ground. He's calling people. And then Brother Sean came. Brother Sean was a excellent help as well, doing his thing with operations, keeping everything under control. Then Brother Young Khan came. Then everybody started coming. So we said, well, let's do Mondays. I mean, let's do, let's do more days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Then we have coaches who teach on those in particular days. So that gives me and Brother Jake a little break to do the ABS firm side. And so that's how this thing developed, man. Just developed as a team. And then as Brother Jake, after we met, he met Kane on social media, saw some stuff she did, call her, put her to the test. She was able to help us scale up into like $100,000 in a week one time with her technology that she has and the strategy that she got with the tech and the text messaging and things of that nature. And then she became part of the team as well, helping us on the back end. She's the one who's helped with this BizCo system that we just put together, all in one for entrepreneurs, landing pages, funnel pages, all that different type of stuff. So that's how the ABS tribe came together. We first became part owners with the ABS, helping them with the insurance game. Then I said, well, we got to show them how to make money. Yeah, we got the insurance, but we got to show them how to make money. So that's where, I got the digital real estate, showing people how to make money online, the ABS tribe, showing them about business, the basics. But we also know that our people don't just lack money. They lack, the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding. A fool and his money will soon part. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talks about they either want us to have wisdom without wealth or wealth without wisdom. So we wanted to combine both of those inside the ABS tribe. Teach lessons about business, but also teach lessons about life, the mind, trauma, things of that nature. So it just started to blow up from there, man. We used to be able to go through everybody's question. Now we be having so many people on that we can't even get through everybody's questions. So it's just been a blessing. And we just scaling from there. And it's honestly been really just God led, man. This thing has just been coming together. The experiences that people are having when they come in, it's sometimes hard to explain because it's the type of energy that you got to feel when you're on those calls with us. So the ABS tribe, man, is amazing. And it just came from us just putting the work in every day, calling, bouncing ideas off each other. How we going to improve it? How we going to improve the customer service? How we going to improve the customer experience? And it's just been growing.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely amazing. And I'm a live bearer witness to the value and of the ABS tribe. I've learned so much. I used to consider myself back in the caveman days when it comes to technology. And, I remember one of the first classes, I was fucking blown away. The first class, after I joined digital real estate and the ABS tribe and got into the coaching, I would listen. I'm like, man, these youngsters know all this. And I mean, I didn't know the language. I had never heard of some of these apps. It was like a whole new world, but it was so practical and it was so simple. You had to put your work in, but it was a lot easier than I thought. A lot of older people, I'm 49, I'll be 50 in a few months. And a lot of people think in my age and above, we think it's like I can't do that. That's for the youngsters, And I know Young Khan, he and I are in the same age bracket. He just crushing it. You know what I'm saying? And he just, I'll be looking at him like, how you do these videos like that, brother? He's doing all kind of stuff with videos, But man, that's a powerful thing. So, brother, and what would you say to people? You got people out here who want to make money. They got experience. They got expertise. And, COVID kind of forced a lot of people and most of us to go online to take what we know digitally. What kind of advice, what would you say to somebody? They don't know how to package it. They don't know what to start. What would you say to them to start generating some money for themselves? They've been doing what they're doing for 10, 15, 20 years, but they don't know how to package that in terms of a business to start generating some funds. What kind of advice would you give that kind of person?
I would say that make sure that you are posting consistently on social media, becoming the authority, meaning that people are looking at your content and you make them want to ask you more questions because you sound like you have an expertise in that particular lane. So focus first on building your house up. Nobody ever invites a bunch of people to your house until the house is built up. So you want to make sure that your house is built up with content. Your house is built up with intellectual property. Now you want to advertise on Craigslist. Now you want to advertise on Zillow and Facebook Marketplace to get people to come into your house. Now you can start engaging with them. So I'll make sure that you first got your page set up properly. You're answering questions. You're doing Q&As. You're giving value every single day. Then what you want to do, you maybe want to put out something for free, what we call a tripwire. put out a little $7 book maybe, or a free book maybe, to see who's all interested in what I have to offer. Because this ebook is going to give you some practical game, but it's not going to give you necessarily everything. It's going to give you the how, maybe it's going to give you the why, maybe. But then when you come in, now I can upsell you. Hey, you come in, 50 ways to make money. I also got the ABS trial for you. That's an actual weekly coaching program. Then in that same phone, I may pitch you the digital real estate, which gives you the step-by-step on how to do exactly what you already been asking me for. I'm going to lay it out for you. I'm going to walk you step by step, and I'm going to show you my screen to make it very easy for you to follow. That's valuable. And then that's just the service base. If you want to be able to be somebody who's an influencer, make sure that you're valuable. Then you can start doing some influencer marketing. Who's ever in your lane, who's ever in your niche, your niche category. Let's say you into fitness. Make a bunch of videos about fitness, giving game about fitness. And if you want to expand your following, do influencer marketing. Find somebody who got a fitness page. Find somebody who got a health page. Post your content on that page. Now, when they come to you, those new followers, that's already your target audience, because you've used somebody who already got your target audience. But because your page is already built up, your house is already built up, now you're giving them a reason to stay, or you're giving them a reason to come back tomorrow or come back next week. Then you just continue to work with them. You continue to engage with them. You answer their questions. You answer their DMs. And if they want more of your time, that's what the products are for. Same thing with YouTube. Build your following on YouTube by making sure that you are using the proper SEO. SEO is search engine optimization, meaning that YouTube is the second largest search engine. So you want to put keywords in your video in a way, or use words that people are going to search for. Don't post another day at the office. No, you need to post something that people are going to be searching for, like maybe Black man, entrepreneurship, new office, because somebody may be searching for entrepreneurship. Somebody may be searching for Black man. Somebody may be searching for a new office that they want to see, and they may run into your video, or your video may show up on a suggested video. It's a couple ways you can make money with free content online. Facebook, they pay you. YouTube, they pay you. So the more views you get, the more money you make, because people are putting advertisements on your video. So you may not have a product, you may not have a service. However, they do have a service, but you got something valuable, which is the eyeballs. They need more people to reach, so they're willing to pay you a percentage. That's one way, by blowing up. But you may say, Brother Ben, I'm not an influencer, so I'm not gonna get no millions of views per month, or I'm not gonna get no 100,000 views per month. So that ain't really gonna work for me. I'm gonna make a couple of dollars, but I ain't gonna make a lot. Well, what if you became that company? What if you became the company that put your own product in your video, your own service in your video? So if you got 3,000 people watching you every week, but you're valuable, you're speaking the right language of the people, you're communicating properly their pain points so they can understand why you're needed, and then you're providing the solution in your communication on why you're needed. If you just have 300 people that buy, that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And then that's one way with your own advertisement. But then let's look and see about a subscription service. If you look at your phone may be, $78 a month, 60 something dollars a month, but you one person. Now, when you do 60 times 1,000, you're looking at $60,000 though. So could you be valuable enough to create a program to where somebody needs you on a weekly basis, or somebody needs you on a monthly basis, and they ain't paying nothing but 50, not a lot to them, but it will become a lot to you when you can service a lot of people. This is why I teach focus on passive impact, not passive income, because the more people that you impact, the more income will come. Now let's go back over to the YouTube, Facebook, and the Instagram. You can do something called affiliate marketing. If you are focused on providing value on a specific thing, every week you become an authority, meaning that they come into you every time they think about marketing. They come into you every time they think about a story. So now you done found somebody, because you don't want to produce your own book. You done found somebody that teaches storytelling. They got a whole masterclass on it, step by step, and they got results. They already got the results. So you say, well, listen, I'm going to become an affiliate. and I want 30%. So you sign up, now you got 30%, but they program costs $197. So if we do the math, here and find out what 30% of 197 times, you're looking at $59. But you ain't got to produce no content. You ain't got to produce no videos. You ain't got to walk nobody through nothing. All you got to do is continue to focus on storytelling on your videos to make sure they coming back to hear more about storytelling. Now you got 3,000 people watching you a month. Oh man, you got 10,000 people watching you a month. And let's just say you had 100 people this month pay for that program that you're getting paid out 30%, you get $59. If you got 100 people that paid that, you're looking at $5,000 this month. $5,000 this month. But don't go buy no shoes. Oh man, don't go buy you some new rims. I want you to take that money and reinvest it. Reinvest it in ads. Reinvest it into influencers. So now you done got on the page that is your niche that you're looking for, but they got 200,000 followers this time. They got 300,000 followers, and you ain't even got to pay. You ain't got to pay them nothing but shoot $200 or $100. So you done reinvested in yourself. Now you do it again, and now that you done did it again, let's say out of the 300,000, 400 people done bought. So now let's do the math. So now that previous month, because you done been very consistent, you've been posting results, you've been interviewing people so that people can see that you got social proof. So I'll take that same 59 times 400. Now you done made 23,000. Now I can take that 23,000. If you say I just ain't getting in front of the right people, but I got a good product, with that 23,000, you can get on the Shade Room, World Star, Facebook ad. You can reach millions of people with just $2,000 out of that 23,000. Now you done profited 21,000. So you just get it. And you keep reinventing yourself. You keep, not reinventing yourself. You keep investing in yourself. You keep duplicating your work by making sure that it's reaching thousands of people, and just make sure that what you're doing is valuable, and you can start to bring in some consistent income. So I hope that
man,
more, but that's just the basic.
Man, you went above and beyond, brother. Y'all heard that game, man. So y'all listen to this replay. Share this out. But man, let's end this with talking about family life. You know, you're a family man. You know, you got a wife, 2 beautiful children and things like that. And I know for one, you know, the value of a good woman. When you're a man on a mission, it's very important to have a good woman in your corner. You know what I'm saying? You know, that how's family life? How long you been married? Somebody asked earlier, you married, brother? And I think one of the tribe members say, oh no, they already married. So chill out with all that. You know, but man, let's talk about family life and how supportive is your wife? Did she help you out with any of this? And is she tech savvy like you, or is she totally different or opposite? Or how does that dynamic play out?
Yeah, I would say she's the opposite. But I've been married over 6 years. I got 2 children. One is 5. One is about to turn 3. So she's 2. And in the beginning, I used to try to make her, do what I do or understand what I'm doing or help out with that, but it just wasn't her lane. And I had to learn that, sometimes that's just not what it is. She's not gonna always be the one to help you necessarily in business, but how she does help is with the children. Because, to be doing what I'm doing, but then have some ignorant children would be, a word backwards. So what she does is she does the homeschooling. So while I'm out working, the children are, being able to be raised with the knowledge itself, being taught knowledge itself, being taught properly with the Supreme Wisdom curriculum. And that's her way of helping me by raising them, making sure that they are good, making sure that they are being raised, listening to the minister, knowing the minister, loving the minister. So when my son met the minister, he felt like he already knew the minister. When he first seen Brother Ishmael, he said Assalamu alaikum, because he felt like he already knew Brother Ishmael just from listening and watching with my wife. And watching her actually has helped me with patience with our people, because I'm gonna tell you, I don't like crying. Oh man, I cannot do the crying. But the way that she's able to do that crying and deal with it and wake up in the middle of the night and things of that nature. Now I still think she get more sleep than me, because, it do be stressful now. I can see it, but for me, I still work because I see her. she'll wake up in the middle of the night and do whatever she got to do for the children. So when it comes to the people, when it comes to my patient with them, if she can deal with children just screaming and you don't even know why they screaming and they just can't understand you trying to tell them, shoot, when it comes to dealing with grown adults who be crying too, figuratively, and they just don't understand what you're saying, I can always remember how she handles them, and it helps me build up my patience to know that, man, at least they not crying in the middle of the night getting on my dang nerves, so I can be a little bit more patient. So she does the opposite. She's not real tech savvy like that as far as editing videos, and I'm not the person to teach like that, because of how I was raised. That's actually something that I'm learning, how to just teach, because I'm a person that say just YouTube it. That's my spirit. I show you one time on video. That's my way of teaching. If you asking, YouTube it. I'm gonna send you a Google link. I'm gonna send you a YouTube link or something like that, because I taught myself that. So I guess I gotta learn to be more patient in teaching people. But because I taught myself literally almost everything and nobody taught me, whatever I needed, I learned. Whatever I learned, I went through trial and error, or I researched it on my own. I be expecting other people to have that same capability to do that as well. So yeah, she's the opposite. She's not helping with the business like that, although I wanted it in the future, in the beginning, but I just had to learn that we can go find other people that can help out with the business while she's handling our future at the moment.
Yeah, yes, sir. And man, I'm gonna say, you know, the Elijah Muhammad and the minister teach that 75% of the work is with the woman, right? And I used to always just look at that just from one angle, that it's with the physical women. But also, all of us have characteristics, that level of patience, that level of tolerance. That 75% of our work as men is developing those characteristics that mothers have, that we absolutely need. Because we need that nurturing side, we need that patience, we need that, we just had a child. My youngest son was born on December the 10th, Legazi Jr., and I watched my wife gets up, man, she nursing, man, get up 3 o'clock in the morning, then he wake back up at 3:08, you know what I'm saying? And again, as she get up, and I'm like, man, I really admire and honor that, and the older you get, and maybe the more mature you get, not old in age, but when the more mature you get in your knowledge and understanding, you can see why a nation will rise no higher than a woman, and why we should elevate and respect the woman to the highest level, So, man, let's close it out, man. What closing words you got for us, man? Anything on your heart and your mind? You got a powerful story, brother. We're looking forward to that book dropping, and all the other great things. They're not telling what a lot and the blessing your brain, man, because you always on. You're always in production mode. But give us some closing words, big brother.
Man, since this is about who is Brother Ben X, and I am currently, striving to discover myself and just learn more about life, man. What I've been able to really just understand is that Allah is the only reality. Whatever that we are going through in life, even the bad things, are purifying us. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talks about the purification of gold, going through that fire. And sometimes when we're going through fire, we hate it. But I believe Allah is really striving to purify us and perfect us through that fire to get us on that evolutionary process back to Him. And look for God, Allah, Jehovah, Most High, whatever, in everything. In the downfalls, in the ups, in numbers. I mean, I'm learning to just be look and mindful of everything, seeing all of the signs of Him answering things that I've had questions about, and prayers and things of that nature. Just be conscious and aware of it. Sometimes we can just be doing so much that we don't sit down and just think, or observe and look for Allah in certain things, because we're so woe is me, or I'm just so busy. But sometimes let's just calm down and just go over the day and think about, man, what was Allah in this? What was He showing me? What was the sign that He may have given me today? Because that literally will guide us through this dark hour that's on the way when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan departs. So us getting in tune with that frequency, us lining our minds with His mind, is going to be very important. And whatever that we have been through, look at it look for the lesson in it. My whole life, you know, I used to just think like, dang, man, I'm born in prison. You know, that sucks. I don't know a lot of my family, but to me, I'm looking for the lesson. What does this mean? How did this prepare me for where I am today? How is my past affecting where I am today? Which makes me think what I'm doing right now is going to affect my future. So how are we now going to treat our future self? So I end off with a question as well. What are we doing today? What did we do today? What are we going to do tomorrow that's going to positively or negatively affect our future self? When I'm 60 years young, when I'm 80 years young, am I going to regret what I'm doing right now? Am I going to regret what I did last week? Am I going to regret the work that I put in next week? So if you want to be someone who wants a bright future, focus on how we're living and being obedient and striving today, because it very well will affect our future.
Man, you better shut your mouth, little brother. You better, man, look at her. Hey, listen, man, I deeply appreciate you, brother. And you know, end with saying this. You know, I've learned similar things in my life, that everything that we experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, it all contains lessons. And I used to always hear when I was coming up that experience was the best teacher. But I used to watch people experience the same thing over and over and over again, and they die. They have with 10 experiences, they learn the damn thing, right? I see people, the first time you smoked that crack, you lost everything, and you got yourself clean. The second time you hit the pipe, you lost it, and then you wind up dying. So I come to realize that experience itself wasn't the best teacher, but in every experience, there's a valuable lesson. And that if you get the lesson from the experience, that lesson will catapult your life to another level. And the example I like to use with that is, just because I experienced the kindergarten, I went to recess with my friends, I went to music class, I learned arithmetic, I learned my ABCs and all that. Just because I experienced that, that don't mean I'm going to the first grade. I have to get the lessons of the kindergarten and go to the first, in order to go to the first grade, at the same way it is in life. We have to get the lesson to go to the next level, man. It's like your grandmama making that bread. You can have all the ingredients of that bread. You can have the dough, the salt, the butter, the water, and the honey. If you put honey in it, you have all the ingredients. But what makes that bread rise is the yeast. You can have everything in the experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the lessons, the wins, the losses. You can have all of that. No, you have all that. But what makes you rise from that experience is the lesson. If you have all the other ingredients, but not the lesson, you still won't rise. So no matter what you're going through in life, no matter how painful it is, no matter how heartbreaking it is, no matter how distressful and disappointing it may be, look for the lesson, because God's hand is always there. That's why the book say all things work for the good. It didn't say some things, most things, many things. Damn it, it say all things work for the good of those who trust in the Lord. So, man, I love you, little big brother. You my little big brother. And I honor you, man. And I pray that Allah bless you and your work to soar to the highest level, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Thank you for allowing me to be on the show.
Yes, sir. And those who are listening, listen, share this out. You know, spread this. I heard Shayba say she got to rewatch it a couple times. I too am gonna rewatch it 4-5 times. And you know, thank you, brother Ben, man. We love you and be blessed, big brother. And you all, thank you all for tuning in.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.